Hello everyone, welcome to my second video on dynamic binding in Java. Dynamic binding in Java is a fundamental concept that allows objects to invoke methods at runtime based on the actual type of the object rather than the declared types. This flexibility is a key feature of object-oriented programming and enables dynamic method dispatch. Advantages of dynamic binding. The advantages of dynamic binding are flexibility, extensibility, runtime efficiency. Flexibility. Dynamic binding allows for more flexible and extensible code as new classes can be added without modifying existing code. Extensibility. Dynamic binding enables the creation of generic code that can work with objects of different classes, promoting code reuse. Runtime efficiency. Dynamic binding can be more efficient at runtime as a Java virtual machine can optimize method calls and dispatch based on the actual object type. Implementing the dynamic binding in Java. There are three ways in which we can implement dynamic binding in Java. First one is method overriding, method resolution, polymorphic behavior. Method overriding. Dynamic binding in Java is achieved through method overriding, where a subclass provides its own implementation of a method defined in the superclass. Method resolution. At runtime, the Java virtual machine determines the most specific implementation of the method to invoke based on the actual object type. Polymorphic behavior. This allows objects of different classes to be treated as instances of common superclass, exhibiting polymorphic behavior. Overriding and dynamic binding. Method overriding. Subclasses can override methods defined in their superclass, providing their own implementation. Dynamic dispatch. At the runtime, the Java virtual machines determines the most specific method implementation to invoke based on the actual object type. Polymorphic innovation. Polymorphic invocation. Sorry. Polymorphic invocation. This allows objects of different classes to be treated as instances of common superclasses, exhibiting polymorphic behavior. Polymorphism and dynamic binding. Inheritance and polymorphism. Dynamic binding is a key aspect of polymorphism where objects of different classes can be treated as instances of common superclass. Runtime method resolution. The JVM resolves method calls at the runtime based on the actual object type, allowing for more flexibility and extensible code. Reuse and flexibility. Dynamic binding enables the creation of generic code that can work with objects of different classes, promoting code reuse and flexibility. These are the examples of dynamic binding in which it can be done: method overriding, inheritance, polymorphic arrays, interfaces. Before we conclude, let us take a quick recap on what we have discussed so far in this video about the dynamic binding. Dynamic binding is in Java allows for more flexible and extensible code by determining the most specific methods implementation to invoke at runtime. Advantages of dynamic binding are improved flexibility, extensibility, and runtime efficiency through the use of method overriding and polymorphism. The key concepts covered are method overriding, dynamic method dispatch, polymorphism, and examples of dynamic binding in the Java. And thank you guys. That's it for the video.